Open the Board of Selectmen meeting for June 17th, 2019. I see Lake Cam's taping. Is anyone else taping? No one wants to tape. So, agenda item number. Wow, I totally just got out of work. I can't even say a sentence right now. Agenda item number 1 at 6:30 is to meet with the town clerk to discuss the scheduling of the special election for the road bond and vote on the ballot question. But
she's not here.
She's not here.
She had to stay.
For something
she's
else.
Open tonight at the town hall.
So we're just going to keep moving down the...
She won't be here at all, but I think she's read everything I've put together. She's fine with it.
Is she good with that?
The question...
Okay, do you guys want to still discuss this without the town clerk here? I had some questions, so maybe we can have the discussion. We'll see whether or not...
I probably can
agenda
answer
item
them.
number 1.
We can, well, let's have your discussion.
All right, so I guess this is to meet with town clerk to discuss scheduling the special election for the road bond and to vote on the ballot question. So we have received some information from town council that the town clerk secured Tuesday, September 10th from noon to 8 p.m. for the special town election at Loon Pond Lodge. And apparently we don't have a timeline by which we could do two based upon all of the requirements of posting and notice and everything like that before September 15th. So we have a ballot question drafted by town council. Bond council's reviewing the question.
And bond council got back to me this morning, and they're okay
good
with
it. Perfect. So we have to vote to place the question on the ballot and then send written notice of the question to the town clerk. So I will make a motion to approve the ballot question as drafted and send a written notice to the town clerk.
It's on the 7th.
We need to read it out loud, I assume.
I'll second.
All right, so discussion, but I guess I will read it out loud for discussion purposes. Shall the town of Lakeville be allowed to exempt from the provisions of Proposition 2 1/2, so-called, the amounts required to pay for the bond issued in order to fund the construction, maintenance, improvement, repair, replacement, and/or relocation of the rights-of-way, sidewalk, drainage, utilities, driveways, retaining walls, guardrails, slopes, grading, rounding, construction, landscaping, and other appurtenances and/or facilities to enable the town to undertake the Route 79 Myrick Street, Rhode Island Road rehabilitation project and any and all costs incidental or related thereto, and to reconstruct, resurface, and repair town roads, including the payment of all costs incidental or related thereto, yes or no.
And you read the next one.
And provided further that said question shall be deemed approved if a majority of the persons voting thereon shall vote yes. All right, so discussion. Any discussion on this?
I'm okay with that.
Okay. I am okay with it as well. It's one ballot question for $4 million,
Yes.
which we had approved up to $4 million and will not require anything else.
And where is that stated? Is the $4 million somewhere on the ballot question?
No, it is not. And that's
Okay.
you can't put
Right, you can't put the amount. Okay.
He did say if anyone questions, and I talked to the town clerk about it, if anyone does question, because people question the police station, why doesn't it say $8 million? So for anyone who wants to know the amount to be borrowed, they can refer to the town meeting vote. So Lillian will have the town meeting vote available.
Do you want to
She'll
have
post
any
it.
kind of a handout?
Well, I was going to say, can we post
No, we
that
can't
or
really,
no?
you can't promote,
Yeah, you can't do any promotion
Okay,
of
but
the...
if
Well, I'm not promoting it.
but informational, she'll have it out in the lobby for
Okay.
people to ask.
Okay.
When they ask the amount, they can refer back to what was approved at town meeting.
Okay.
All
So
right.
if someone reads the question and they say there's no amount, then they have the right to ask the clerk
Yes.
for, okay.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
I did.
Sorry, we're doing a little different. I like to
I'll do
discuss
the
the
second.
motion that's been seconded
Yeah.
before we discuss. I'm going to hold off on agenda item number 3 just because, and sorry, Ryan, we have to wait until 6:45 because we posted you with a time certain. So therefore, let's go to agenda item number 4 because Mark Knox is here. So we have a copy of the PNS agreement signed by Mark and Amy Knox for the current police station. The hope is to close it by July 31st if the police department has moved to the new station, but if not, there's an option to extend. So that being said, I will make a motion to vote to sign the purchase and sale agreement for the sale of 296 Bedford Street.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
No, not for me.
All right, nothing? All right,
Almost.
all those in favor? Aye. Agenda item number 5. This is a reviewing and voting on the school resource officer agreement. we have the one-year extension, the SRO agreement signed by the school committee, superintendent, and the police chief. All the terms will remain the same, so I will make a motion to approve the school resource officer agreement extension.
I'll second that.
So for discussion purposes, I was curious, the salary increase
No change.
doesn't go up, there's no
Always
change in the amount.
there's-
Yeah.
The agreement did not put salaries always.
It's been the same for
Right, it's been the
last few
same
years.
since we've kind of
Right.
dealt with it, but I think that we've never had an issue with regard to that amount for the reimbursement.
Right.
So, that being said,
There is a stipend that goes along with the
Yes.
position, correct?
Ryan can speak to that, because you used to be the SRO officer, correct?
Yes, there is contractually, with the bargaining agreement, there's a 5% stipend for that position.
Okay. Okay, but otherwise, the agreement stays the same, right?
On our
It's
reimbursement.
my first one, so I
Yeah.
didn't have an old one to look at, so I just want to ask
I
the
do have the
question.
folder here, just in case you want
Okay.
to see it.
Okay.
I'm going to trust that you say all terms will remain the same.
they pretty much
Yeah.
copy,
So,
they
if anything
take it, it
changed-
doesn't even
Yeah.
change. They just change the 19 to 20, the cover page.
Right. And I think next year,
We need to look at the
we
salary.
need to
Exactly,
change
we'll do
the
an
rate.
evaluation.
We need to
I
change
agree.
the
We don't get
All
reimbursed.
right, all those in
And then-
favor?
Just one more thing, and then in the summertime, the person, the SRO, goes just back to working their regular, correct?
Yep, yeah, it's in the
Yeah.
stipulation
Yeah.
agreement as
Yeah,
well.
they have
Okay.
a schedule.
All those in
right.
favor?
Aye.
Aye. Agenda item 6 has been tabled. All right, where are we now? 6:40. All right, agenda item number 7, to review and vote on the request from the Cable Advisory Committee to include an online Comcast survey with the mailing of the FY20 preliminary real estate bills. So Cable Advisory Committee has requested a one-page online survey about really the renewal coming up with the Comcast license, so that those who are, I guess, I don't know if it matters because it'll go to all taxpayers as opposed to just Comcast taxpayers, but everyone has a chance to weigh in. So I will make a motion that we approve the, inclusion of the one-page online Comcast survey with mailing of the FY20 preliminary real estate bills.
And it's actually just a little blue.
Tiny little thing.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
Is this like a first come, first served basis? if
Yes.
People want to, because we try not to, well, we don't allow the postage to go.
Actually, the library had approached the treasurer first
Yeah.
about it, and they've decided to do a different way online.
Okay.
And so cable was second request.
Because we can do this as long as it doesn't change the postage,
Yes.
correct? Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Agenda item number 8, vote to award the bid for DPW supplies. So the word I can't pronounce, Surges, has gone out to bid for DPW supplies from 7/1/19 to 6/30/20. If the board satisfies with bids, could you please vote to award the Surges bids for the DPW supplies as follows? So I will make a motion that we award the bid for dense graded crushed stone to LaRusso Corp. for $13.15 per ton, 3/4-inch stone to LaRusso Corp. for $16.35 per ton, catch basin square grates, John Hoadley and Sons, $125.50 each, recycled asphalt, LaRusso Corp., $9.50 per ton, Class 1 bituminous hot fix FOB, TL Edwards Inc., $62.35 per ton, Class 1 bituminous winter mix FOB, TL Edwards Inc., $94.75 per ton, mid-grade unleaded gasoline, Peterson Oil, .0585 per gallon, ultra-low sulfur diesel, Peterson Oil, .0625 per gallon. That's my motion.
I'll second that.
Discussion?
If I can, just for Leah's sake, on the last two, Leah.
Yep.
That's the delivery cost per gallon, on top of whatever gasoline is going for that day in the Journal of Commerce. Is that right, Tracy? So it's just the delivery cost.
Okay.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Agenda item number 9 is the vote to award the Surges office supply and copy paper bids. So we have bids as follows. So I'll make a motion to approve the office supply bid at 61.6% discount off the prices in the 2019 United Stationers Supply Catalog. All of this is to WB Mason. Toner and ink, 36.6% discount off the prices in the 2019 United Stationers Supply Catalog. Copy paper, 8.5 by 11 carton, 92 bright at $32.90. Copy paper, 8.5 by 14 carton, 92 bright at $34.30. And copy paper, 8.5 by 17 carton, 92 bright at $33.80.
Second that.
Any discussion?
This is for all offices, just,
All office supplies.
For all the towns that are part of the Surges group.
okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, I'm going to hold on agenda item number 10. It's 6:43, so sorry. Let's go for agenda item number 11, a vote to approve a bid for the assessor's map updates and online GIS services. So the assessors went out for a bid that we need to approve as well. So I will make a motion that we approve the bid received from Cartographic Associates, Inc., DBA CAI Technologies, in the amount of $9,600 for map update services and Access GIS Web GIS services, $1,500 for setup and implementation, $2,400 per year annual hosting and support, $3,200 map update services 2018 optional years, and $3,000 map update services for 2019 optional years.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
Was this the original amount? I thought I had seen a different number. Did that amount change from way back when?
Well, this GIS service is going to be used by the assessors.
Yep.
The police department for 911.
Yeah.
The permitting software, all of the departments. So I'm not quite sure which.
Okay, because at first I thought it was discussed by the assessors that it was going to be 18, and then I thought maybe 20, and if we add this all up, so I just didn't know if this is final, all in.
This is approved by the IT director, that they went through and they made sure that everything was all wrapped together with regard to the new technology that's here. So it's different and apart from probably what happened at the assessor's initial.
And the People GIS that we had through,
Yep.
that will be gone too, using this.
Yep.
Okay, and this has been reflected, I think, in the budget, right? The assessors, I think, had done that
I'm almost sure it
ahead of
is,
time?
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 6:45. We're back. Agenda item number 2. We're going to meet with Sergeant Maltese to discuss the recommendation of the Police Station Building Committee to approve the communication upgrades for the new police station. So I know the last time that we spoke, we thought that we might still have some dollars that were out there potentially related to some of the security equipment and upgrades. So we have a copy of the Cybercom quote that came through. I don't know if you want to just give a brief overview of kind of where we are and what this is going to do with another $213,000.
Certainly. So it's called a microwave radio network. We'll speak to essentially what it does. Currently, we have one repeater site in town. It's not very common for a town of our size. In certain areas of town, there is some difficulty with communication for both departments, police and fire.
And I'm just going to jump in and just say I'm happy to just keep the conversation also away from any location specifics of anything as to where any of this equipment is
Right.
located. So just to kind of frame the conversation, but thank you. Sorry.
So what the microwave network does is it's compared to putting up multiple repeater sites, it's a cost-effective way of getting different communication sites into one. So essentially, it's...
Oh, sorry. He wants you at the podium.
Microphone. You're not going to get away with that.
I didn't understand what that was. I was like, is it
work on the
John?
signals.
I know, John's like fumbling with papers, and I thought that was the problem, like, right in front of the microphone. Sorry.
So what it does is it takes our current frequency. We've already picked several locations within town. Some are within, some are without the town limits. A microwave dish, per se, is put on these antennas, and our radios would go through what's called a voting system. So it would find the closest microwave receiver to our location, boost that signal, and transmit it back to our primary repeater site. So essentially, it's just a very large upgrade to our communications to enhance communications within each other and back to the station.
Okay, great. So that being said, this is it.
That is it.
All right. So we had approved $30,000 that previously we had approved with regard to this, kind of without knowing the tower and all those issues too. So now that 30,000 will come off the 212 that we already authorized. So it's really 182-ish that we need to authorize. I guess the question.
It's not coming off of this one.
No, not off of this one, but it's off a previous
previous
one
vote,
that we had
yeah.
voted. So I guess the question really is, now that we have established the value for the bond of the police station at $6.6 million that we're going to have to bond for, is how we pay for this.
If I may, I've already talked
Absolutely.
to Todd about that it would probably be a ban in, a short-term ban.
So if we did a 6-month that we could pay off when we get free cash certified in the fall? Right?
Well,
I mean, that's what John would
It's
probably
going to be paid
do, I
off
would
by the
assume.
debt exclusion. It's,
It's not above and
It's
beyond
not-
the 6.6? It can fit in the 6.6? When
it
we,
won't fit in the 7.4.
well, yeah, sorry, that's what I
Okay.
mean, the
Yeah,
7.4
it won't
with the
fit
premium.
within that, right.
Yeah, so that way, if we do a 6-month ban on this, then we can pay that off when we hit free cash in the fall. And then that way, we've bonded the
You wouldn't-
7.4.
It would be just added to the debt exclusion with the bond payment on the tax bill.
But won't we can't exceed the 7.4.
You can go, yes, you can go up to 8 million.
But we're
with
going out to
short-term.
bid with, oh, you're saying.
Well,
we'd have to-
they upped it from 7.
Right, so we
I
could in
think,
thery go up
to
another 600,000 because we've
Yes.
been authorized for it
Yeah.
and do it on a ban and make it an excluded ban. Or we could just pay it off.
I certainly would rather pay it
Yeah.
off in the fall.
Well, we can talk about that in the fall.
Right.
With that.
What I was trying to find was later on, we have the update of the police station budget.
Yeah, do you want to talk about it while Ryan's here?
Well, yeah, I want to, which you wouldn't have this in front of you, I don't think. But we had the communication equipment and radios for 159 on there. Now, is any of this covered by that line item?
No.
This is all.
No.
I think the only thing that might be different, John, is the 30,000.
Right.
When you just look at that before.
Which isn't on the Pomeroy schedule, I don't think. So you're saying that it's 180-something? I'll do it.
Yeah, because we would have already have included an additional 30 that we no longer need in one of our votes that
Yeah.
then will be replaced by the 212.
Yeah.
So it's
But what
really,
we didn't do was have 183 on there.
correct.
That's
Yep,
115.
yeah.
What?
Yep.
Rita?
The communication equipment radios, I believe is the 159,980.
The L.
Yeah.
Radio system upgrades, including new radios and work at repeater sites. Yep. So that line item really is, in theory, we don't need to,
Well, if that, right, we can save this for the end, but my question is, do we already have 159,980 towards the 183?
No.
Or 183 is on top of it?
yeah, the 159 was for other items. And we had left this
I would
open as to,
assume so.
we knew there was another potential cost. So it's really 129 plus the 213.
Right, that 159 should be 129. That's what you approved.
Okay.
Yep,
So that gets reduced by 30.
Right.
yep. Yeah. So I'm okay with that. And we can use a ban and then we can decide what we want to do when we get to the fall town meeting. If there's anything we want to pay
Right.
off sooner, we can't pay off the bond sooner, but we can pay off the ban.
Right. Do you do bans for 6 months, a year?
They're usually a year.
It's usually a year,
Yeah.
but we can pay it off. There's no penalties.
We could do a 6-month one if we wanted to and
What do we
authorize a
got,
transfer at town meeting in the fall.
June, July, August, September, October, November.
Because if you really don't want to keep that as debt,
November something would only be the 6 months, we might have a
Do you want
town
to be
meeting
part of
another
the
month after that.
I don't know. I mean, I think that's a conversation that we'll have, and that's a bigger conversation. I think what we need to do, we'll worry about how to fund it later, because we'll take out a ban. We have the authorization to go
Right,
up to 8
right,
million. But
right.
do we really want to put that on the taxpayers when I think what we're really getting to is we have a bond for 6.6. We could add to that the ban, or we could just, instead of doing that, we could just
We could.
pay it off, depending upon what it looks like with the cash flow.
When do we decide if we want to increase it, or how do we increase that? Grab a seat.
For the ban, for the total
Yeah,
amount of
we
what's
said-
on here?
Right. Well, not this, how do we add it to the other one?
Well, you don't. So
We don't.
what we have is.
just draw more money?
We draw more money because we're authorized to draw up to 8 million.
Okay.
So we have a bond for
Okay.
7.4. And then we have the
Yeah.
premium that's just being used to offset the bond for 7.4, which brings us to 6.6. So we
Okay.
still have $600,000 of room.
Yeah.
I hope no one from the police station building committee is listening because I don't want to go up anymore. But that being said, that's an availability that we have that would be through debt exclusion. Anything above and beyond that could be done through a regular ban. But,
Yep.
the goal is, when we look at the debt schedule as we move forward, we've been trying to eliminate the bans and the short-term debt.
Exactly.
Again, it would be excluded, so the taxpayers have authorized it if we want to go that way, or we can decide if we want to use current funds to pay it off.
Right.
And free cash might be looking pretty good. And I think we have 292,000 on the capital plan, that we've been carrying for
Yeah,
just
that is
this.
the
And you
tower
eliminate
and
that and pay it
communication.
off out of free cash.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
figure it
yeah.
out as
Yeah.
we look at the fiscal
Yeah.
policy in the fall
Right.
and where everything shakes out. But that being said, I will make a motion after that long interlude, and thank you, to approve the police station building, well, I guess the communication upgrades for the new police station in the amount of $213,737.46.
I'll second that with a little bit of discussion.
All right.
So when we add this, the construction people always get their pound of flesh. They add the 2%, the 4%, the 5%. So
I don't think they
are
get
they
it.
going to mark this up, or is this separate?
This is separate.
That would be separate.
Yeah.
Separate. They don't get their hands on it and get to mark up something they never touched.
And John, on none of these, the 165 for Tim Graybars for the IT, there's no markup for the project manager or the architect.
Okay. Okay. So I second it, did the discussion.
All right, any further discussion?
Madam Chair, what was the number?
The 213, maybe
Seven.
my
Well,
237,
Wait.
47.
One, thank you.
Is it going to be 183?
Well, I think the thing is, we have to authorize this one. And I
Okay.
don't know if we can
Okay.
rescind the 30, or we
Okay.
I
just
don't
don't
think you
spend
can.
it. So, I mean,
To
because
the
this one's
213?
one invoice, I'd rather have it for the amount of the bid. Yeah, 213,737.46.
46.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you,
All right.
Ryan.
So, that being said, let's move on to agenda item number 3. So this is a review and vote to approve the revised fiscal year 20 wage scales. So we have 4 wage scales for fiscal year 20. All the new approved positions have been added. There's highlights as to what is added, what has been eliminated. Everything has its contractual increase associated with it and/or has been pulled out in accordance with the budget that was approved at town meeting for specific positions that have been added.
And I highlighted 3 in red, Mitzi, that I thought could be eliminated. On the first page, the treasurer, collector, clerk, and payroll clerk. Now with the HR admin position, we don't need that position anymore. HR coordinator, now that we have an HR director, I don't know that we would go back to a coordinator. And on the third page, the events coordinator, Parks Department assistant, I checked with the Parks Department, and they said to eliminate that too, because they can't envision going back to that now that they contracted out.
So, again, for moving this along, I will make a motion to approve the wage scales for fiscal year 20 as listed.
I'll second it, but
And we'll have discussion,
obviously
yes.
come back to discussion.
All right, so a motion and a second, and we're in discussion. So, John, what would you like to discuss?
Back to the animal control.
Yes.
Prior to this, last year's was 49,314.
Yep.
And to me, stipends because I watched the meeting on Lake Camp today. To me, the stipend is similar to an overtime. And base pay for the dog officer is $49,314. He has put the time in. We've got $20,000 worth of stipends on top of that. I'd like it to state it's $49,314 in the base. In the meeting, it was said to make sure that we highlight the base and the stipend of $20,000.
Yep.
But if I was hiring a dog officer today, the posted should be, I believe, $49,314. Now, maybe you add 3% to that.
Right, that doesn't include, right.
You add 3% to that. I get that you say you want to be transparent and have the 70 be what we're actually paying someone.
Yep.
But if we look at the lieutenants and we say that we pay them $70,000,
Yep.
for want of a word,
Yep.
they make an amount much greater than that, not to highlight them.
Overtime and other incentives, right?
Overtime, incentives.
But the position, the animal control officer is a non-exempt position, right? So it isn't allowed to include overtime versus the contractual obligation for, say, the police sergeants or lieutenants with overtime, right? But it's just as a question.
I don't know that. I know, I'd read the contract. I guess I'm not so sure what you're trying to get at, but because if we took the police, the fire, I'm not so sure that, we've only put on this schedule deputy fire chief and police lieutenants, pretty much the second in commands.
Yep.
And they make much different amounts than is stated here. So, I mean, if you,
Due to overtime, right?
overtime,
Education.
details,
Education,
education, all
incentives.
kinds of other
Yeah, 'cause-
things that add up to something greater than
Yeah, because
40,000 more.
So I think the issue that I had when I was discussing it was related to the fact that we had other positions that were available. It wasn't kind of adding an overtime shift for those stipends. It really was related to other positions that otherwise would be, I guess maybe it ends up semantics, right? It's almost the same thing. That would be filled by somebody else with those stipend positions. And I wanted to make sure that the wage scale reflected the fact that he was making $70,000 as opposed to the fact that it was kind of more hidden. And I guess what you're saying is, well, then wouldn't you think that these other grades might show 90,000 or 100,000 or whatever the case if that included
Right.
all of that, right?
My contention is to get the $20,000, you have to come back.
Right, yeah.
If you do a base pay of $70,000, you don't have to come back.
Well, it's almost like, and I think we had the thought at least was, do we change the job description then to include that? And if that's
No,
the case, then.
I'm definitely not doing that.
Okay.
I'm
Because you
not.
don't want the base pay to be.
I want the base pay to be what the base pay was expected to be. And if he wants the stipend, and instead of paying Hal Marshall or Darcy or someone else, he comes back and covers it. I don't object if he gets that. That's what he's been doing. So if it's been we'll call it a salaried position,
Right.
then maybe that shouldn't have been being done, but I'm not going there.
Right.
I have no desire to change the base other than by 3%.
Yeah, because I think that, when I was asking about it too and putting it into the wage scale, what I wanted to have was that, because I thought the concern that you had was we go out to hire a new animal control officer and someone looks at this and says, wow, like I could do this and I can make 70,000. Well, no, because you have to also do all the callbacks that are included in here
I'll
for
guarantee
20,000.
we'll all retire and the next one comes in, they'll get $70,000. It happens.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was the
base
conversation
pay-
where we ended up differing on that
The base pay is the
too.
$50,000. And if he comes back and works the time and he gets the stipend, that's okay by me.
Yeah,
Because these amounts that are here, that we think we've had, they're up by 50%. They're not up by
You mean on
10,000.
everybody else.
But his
Well,
would be right on
these
the
these
mark.
other amounts, they're not
Accurate.
off, they're not remotely
well,
close.
it's really the only ones that you'd be talking about would be the deputy fire chief and the police lieutenant. And I think because they're not covered by their union contract, and obviously
Right.
the animal control officer doesn't have a contract, but he's just in a wage scale, right? Kind of like the
And the
superintendent of
wage
streets.
scale should be $50,000, and if he comes back and does the coverage and he gets $100 a day as the other coverage would be, that's fine by me.
Well, because I think the concern is, what if he only comes back half the time? Then why is he getting
He
70?
should reduce his stipend.
But isn't that how it's
You can
supposed to
go
be
back and
written?
reduce the salary if he's not doing what
No,
he does now.
I don't want a base salary of $70,000. You've done the,
So,
I don't object to him getting it, but he's got to work the extra time
well,
to get
yeah,
it.
that's what I thought that was the intent of it, was
That-
he's getting it because he's been doing it and he's going to continue doing it. But if he's not, I agree, there needs to be some
I don't
mechanism by
know.
which he's doing that job that includes those callback stipends of $20,000.
There should be a sign-off for the stipend, just like if Darcy did it, there's a sign-off. I
Yeah, is
assume.
that, can that
And
I assume.
I can.
work? Like, can we
Yeah,
look at?
he would do just what he does now.
Just
with
what he
me.
does now.
Yeah.
It's just I won't submit it as part of his payroll.
So-
He puts in the days
Well,
he worked.
how's he got the extra 20 today?
Yeah, so,
I sign off on it.
Right, so I would,
Yeah, so it's not-
I believe you should continue doing it that way,
So-
meaning he's got to come back.
so does that make sense then with this wage scale to even have something like that on here? And that's just a question that I have.
Well, I think
The other
you were trying to make the
discussion
wage
was-
scale, I don't know what you're trying to think, but you're trying to think that the wage scale should equal someone's pay.
Well, no.
I go, wow,
Well,
it doesn't do
I think
that.
the thing was that he was doing all these other jobs. So similar to what happened, I think, when Nate took on additional responsibilities, that's the point when we looked at it and we said, look, okay, this is what the job was. Now this is what the job is. Now, we didn't really have I guess we did have a job description and it changed, but when we found that he was doing a lot more than what we thought he was doing originally, that's when we bumped up his salary because we gave him additional responsibilities, and that was the case. But I agree with you in the fact that if he's not doing this and all of a sudden we're paying other people for this $20,000 that's out there, he shouldn't get it. I completely agree with that. So I don't know how we can make this work that
I
way.
think the other part of the discussion too was the stipends won't count towards his pension. If you
Could
remember
I-
the discussion.
Can I have a turn? I believe you watched the meeting, is that what you said, John, today? And I'm pretty sure that one of the reasons why I voted for it was because it is Dave Freites. I don't look at this as and maybe I should, but as the animal control officer, I look at it as the person that's been doing it for a long, long time. Of all the things going on in town right now, this is one place where people are super happy with what the town is doing, and it's mostly because of him. So it was my feeling that, I hope to be around next time we hire an animal control officer, and I will definitely remember that, the base pay probably shouldn't be $70,000, but I think that, Mr. Freites has gone above and beyond the call of duty, and people are extremely happy with what he's done. We've cut down on abandoned dogs because they have a place to bring it. But anyways, my point is, I really would like to see him be able to include this as part of his, average for his retirement. I know, I'm giving a lot of credit to the person, but I think that's credit that's due to him.
Well, I think that there's a distinction, though, between this isn't about somebody doing a great job and giving them a salary. It's about what he was making regardless, and the fact that his job description is almost more changing, or has changed. It's been different than what his original job was.
Right.
And I think that's the real question is there a way to ensure that this can be, I guess, to alleviate everybody's concern, you don't want to pay him a base where, divide the 70,000
Right, and he never
by
goes out on a
26.
weekend to pick up.
So you don't want that, right? And you want to make sure it goes into his pension. So that's the big thing, is there a way to make that happen within the confines of this line item? Now, this would require us to go back, since this is not on the agenda on this particular line item, and we had voted on it. So I'm perfectly content with taking the motion, amending the motion to include approval of the entirety of the wage scales with the exception of J, pending, and putting this back on an agenda to revisit it if you want to, because I'd like to know how that can happen if we don't know how that can happen. With those
I'm
two
not-
things being in existence,
And I'm
to
not
make
re-
that line item reflect that.
I'm not revisiting anytime soon, so you can put it on a budget, on an agenda.
Well, I mean, I do think that this issue requires more attention because on my first day, I was sworn in on April 2nd in the morning, and one of the things on the agenda, April 2nd, was this thing. And I didn't feel I had enough information to vote on it, so it got tabled. So it came up again, and I think someone had a change of vote. I don't remember. I actually did participate in the vote because I had more information. I felt comfortable doing that. This is the third time now that this is being brought up. So when the same issue is being brought up 3 times, I agree with Mitzi that we should probably vote on everything except for this and bring it up when we have all our answers to our questions.
Yeah, I think the only question really is there a way to ensure that within this language, because that's what I thought I was voting on, was that he gets it when he comes back, but yet we want to make sure it's part of his base pay. And if it requires an amendment to the job description that includes a stipend within the job description, provided he does, A through Z, I'm okay with that. I don't have a problem with it.
I look at it a lot different, because if I took anyone's base pay here, as we've stated on this wage scale, and they make $40,000 more than that, that isn't necessarily all going towards their pension.
This is, what the amount on here is going to their pension.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, the other 40,000 isn't. So Dave has 20, someone else has 45,000 that doesn't go to it. So I don't think it's any different in my mind than all
I
those.
think,
Just overtime doesn't go.
yeah, I think education.
Well,
does, if I'm not
that's
mistaken.
40,000, that can be
Yeah.
a lot of money. So overtime for other positions does not go to their pension. And coming back doesn't necessarily go to your pension.
Yeah, I mean, I think then I am fine then if the resolution to this is moving forward. I mean, I guess there's 2 ways to do this. 1, we just vote on the wage scale and just move on. 2 is we just look at this and we say, do we want to adjust the job description to include this? I don't really feel like revisiting this much at all. So I guess I still have the original motion and it's been seconded. So I'm just going to go with that because I just don't want to spend any more time on it. So I'm going to call the vote. All those in favor? Aye.
Nay,
We can't.
for,
For
For-
the approval of the wage
Chair,
scale.
whatever it is.
That's all.
Just how it
yeah.
is.
How it
Okay,
is.
so how it is?
Yep.
The way it is?
Yep.
Without excluding that
Yep.
line item? I'm
That
going to
is-
say aye.
All right, 2-1. In the name of efficiency. Agenda item number 10. This is a vote to award the bid for the multi-use athletic field at Ted Williams Camp. So we got 4 quotes from the Park Commission, and they are as follows. Northeast Hydro Seeding, Inc., 39.3. Paquan, 54,000. Green Acres Landscape and Construction Company, Inc., 59,580. And North Turf, Inc., 65,950. So I will make a motion that we approve the bid to Northeast Hydro Seeding, Inc.
I'll second that with
Let's
discussion.
discuss this. So, I know I would like to see and make sure that the Parks Department has talked to Franklin about irrigation and mowing and maintenance and all this stuff before we go ahead and move this thing forward, mainly because I just have concerns about how they're going to maintain this, and I just don't know.
We put $75,000 to the side for finishing the athletic field, call it field number 1. I don't know if this 39 means everything is complete, irrigated, seeded, guaranteed. And so I certainly would want them to, someone explain all that are we paying $39,300 for something that we put $75,000 to the side, which is a good deal, and it's complete.
Right, does anyone know?
That was for 2 fields. This is, the 75 was to complete both fields. This
Well,
39.3 is to only
what's
do
the
one
both
field.
fields? I only have one field across from the
Lacrosse
police
and one,
station.
there's 2
Well,
fields.
Just for clarification, Field 1 is considered which field?
One of the new ones.
Listen,
With
Not the
that's
new
half-graded.
area.
Yeah,
That's
part of the
the
new
big
area.
pile across from the police station.
There's two
I
fields
thought
near there.
I thought I was giving them $75,000 to complete the project. So are we doing half the project for 40?
Well, they didn't know how the bids would come in, so they want to immediately, now that this bid has come in, go out to bid for the second field.
Can we table this? I mean, I'd really like to know what we're talking about. If Field 1 is 3/4 of the, and
So,
then that's
so this is
different.
this is the funny thing. So the thing is, they can't award a bid at all because they're the park commission.
Right.
And we're the board of selectmen, so we award the bids. They run the enterprise fund and they run what they want to do with their money. So they want to do this. We really have, I mean, we can talk to them about it, but I still think that's kind of overreaching. I just would like them to, I'd like someone, probably Lorraine, to get in touch with the park commission to make sure that they're aware of every other or any other cost that the town may bear with regard to this, including mowing and maintenance and what this would mean with regard to this.
I can speak to that. What the park commission has looked at is when Mike Vickery retires from the highway department, they
Yeah, but we had that conversation. That needs to be a revisited
Yeah.
conversation between the department heads because that's not clear. I just want to make sure from the perspective of
Yeah.
what we're spending in resources, but this has nothing really to do with us. Our authority here is really let them do what they want with the money that they've already set aside.
Right, but now the 75,000 that we've set aside
No,
It was in their budget.
It was-
We
retained
gave them
earnings.
75 to finish the
of their
field.
money though, right?
Yes, out of their retained earnings.
The budget process was that the Parks Commission decided that they were going to take $75,000 out of retained earnings so that they could complete their fields.
Yep.
So again, we can micromanage this as much as you want, or we can just do what our job is with regard to this, which is just allow them to award the bid that they've determined to be the case. I'm okay with that because I don't feel like,
I mean, I think we've probably,
Comment on that?
absolutely. Yeah.
Mark Knox. As a businessman, I feel like the town did set aside $75,000 for them. There is always a discount with volume in business. So if equipment goes one time, it's probably more cost effective. I'd hate to see the town have to be gone back to for more money if there's enough there. If on one mobilization, the company that gets hired can do both fields at the same time within the budget instead of another 44 when they come back because costs go up. Not to micromanage them, but I'd hate to see that we have to give them more money when they had enough if they just asked the right question.
I mean,
Agreed.
If we have to authorize that, I'd want to know the answer. If we don't have to authorize it, I'm fine. We gave them 75. I expect to see fields across from the police station, not Field 1, not Field 2, not tell me I need another $40,000 for irrigation, that I need more money for this and that. They have the 75. I'm all set.
And
Yeah,
what
they
they
just
can do,
can't
if they
use
go out to bid right away.
right,
You know,
I
they
mean,
can,
my.
Northeast is the low bidder. They can do both economy of scale.
Can they come to a meeting so we can have this conversation with them? I think
You know what, I had reached out to Scott and I asked him about the bids, but in all honesty, I really didn't know the scope of everything, and I know whatever. And Scott was pretty eager and willing to give me some information, so I don't think that they would be, I can call and ask them if they'd just like to come and explain it to us, and maybe with a couple of pictures, the maps, whatever.
Mike Nolan's been the one.
I'm happy
doing it, so.
they do the 75. I'm all set. But do we have to approve the 39.3?
Because
We
it's
have
a
to
bid.
do that.
Just
we
award
award
the
the
bid.
because
contract.
they can't, they
God.
can't, it's a
You know,
technicality. They
listen,
can't spend their own
I
money
could get into it and
unless
say,
we
listen,
award the
anyone
bid.
that plants grass in June is going to lose it to weeds.
But I agree,
But,
Yeah.
I don't care if you have irrigation. You don't do it till the fall. You
That's-
don't do it till the fall.
Right.
So, listen, I don't disagree about not micromanaging. They have 75.
Yeah.
I'd like to see,
I mean,
to spend the 75.
The other option is,
Complete.
we're not really micromanaging if we approve what they've done the work on, and then we just ask them to come in if they want to give us an update. so at least we know what's going on.
And Nate has talked to them about planting in June.
Hi, Bob Lawrence. My question is, what was the bid for? What were they asked to bid on?
I don't know.
I mean, and that's
That's the problem.
when you're dealing with construction bids, it's a huge document.
Yeah, I mean,
And it should detail every single thing that they're responsible to do.
yeah, so the issue is, again, it's the Parks Commission.
Right.
So they did all that stuff, and they did it all on their own. We just didn't get anything.
Other than
with-
So-
we had patient other than, here's
So
the-
all you can do
please
is say
Right.
yea or nay to them spending the
And you
money.
know
That's
what,
all
they
the
could
authority
have
we
a whole
have.
file with every answer.
Can you ask them for that information?
Yeah, I mean, we
But,
can
I
ask for
mean,
information. I think what the, I have no problem with awarding the bid and just saying, hey, look, a little coordination, a little conversation as to what's going on would be helpful so that we know as a town if there's any other impact going on. And also, to Mark's point, maybe they want to, we can award this
I would think you'd do the whole thing.
and you do the whole thing.
It's that close.
A bulldozer's a bulldozer, you're not going to do half the pile.
I mean, and I'm just looking at it thinking $40,000 to level that out,
Well-
grade that out, irrigate it. It just sounds like that's a heck of a deal.
Well, the other
Yeah.
issue is that
If that's all
we do
you're
not-
doing.
So if we do not award this bid, then the issue comes out to now it's another 6-week process. I mean, we can
Right.
hold on this until they come in and talk to us if we want, or
Right,
find
I
out more
mean, we don't know
information.
how long their bid is good for.
I'm not giving them any more than 75.
No, I know,
The whole
that's the
field's
thing. Why don't we
across it.
table
That's
this?
irrigated everything.
And we'll see if they can come in on July 1st, or at least give us an update that's written so
Right.
that it explains, the concerns with going, if you want to do both, you've been issued 75,000, let's figure out what this looks like.
Those piles of dirt have been sitting there for
And
Long
a
time.
long time, but
I mean-
we'd all love to see a field built and done.
Yeah, especially if they can
There's a lot-
generate
It'd
some
be great
revenue
if
from
they
it.
knew what they were actually going to do for the money given them.
There's a lot of things with government that make no sense as to
Oh,
why
yeah, I
we
know.
have to vote this, yet they're the ones doing all the work.
We can't
But-
say to do the second
would-
field on this bid.
No, we
It's gonna-
can't. So that's the thing is,
Yeah.
I don't know if they went out to bid that possibly had multiple options,
they
or,
didn't.
well, you would know because you did
No, they
procurement.
Well, now I have a question, because they want me to go forward and bid out field number 2. Do I go forward and bid out field number 2?
Nope, not until we have a conversation with them.
Yeah.
We're tabling it till July 1st.
All right, and you know what? I think Lorraine and I, because she is our coordinator, could probably,
Well, I think
Go to
Lorraine
them.
can do it.
yeah, well, I mean, I'm the liaison, so I
Yeah,
could.
perfect, okay.
Yeah, so we could work together, get together and just,
Go to the next park meeting.
yeah,
some
if they have a
information
park
on this.
meeting, maybe we can get on their agenda and we can just give them all the questions and then they can come with,
Yeah, we made them do that with the bathroom at John Pond too. Because we didn't have enough information, we had to award a bid. So the same,
and it could be that they have it all sitting there, so we just
We
need
can ask
to.
them for a recommendation.
of,
They have 4 bidders, they talked to them.
yeah, they did. So they actually,
Yeah,
oh, you
they-
mean from the bidders themselves?
No.
Yes, one
They
of
gave us
the-
a recommendation as to
They
who they
recommended
wanted.
1 out of the 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, it's not
Yeah.
for the entire thing. So, to your point as well, and to Tracy's point of going back out immediately on bid
Well,
number
if
2.
they gave the recommendation and you voted on the recommendation, it looks better on you guys if something fails, if they had all the information, didn't pass it along.
Yeah, I mean, we're just tabling it, so it's really just for them to say, look, we'd like some information, we'd like to have a conversation on it. We're not trying to really micromanage, but, because again, our job is really just to award the bid.
Yeah.
But that being said, I think that in the event that Tracy's running out twice to do procurement, versus if we could do it once and they've been authorized $75,000, let's just make sure everybody's on the same page. And I wouldn't mind getting Franklin involved in your conversation too, just with regard to maintenance and upkeep on the fields going forward, because that's going to be a huge concern that I have that's not going to be contained within the enterprise fund budget. So,
And if I may, Mitzi, too, it's approximately $40,000. They have 75. So if both fields come in at 80, they'll have their retained earnings in September, and they can vote at the special town meeting to add 5,000 to that warrant article and make it 80.
yeah, I mean, I think though also too, to Mark's point, and really with the construction is that 2 fields might come in at 60. I mean, they already have the equipment, it's already there, so see what that looks like. Okay, so that's tabled. No vote. Agenda item number 12, this is a review to vote on and award the road reconstruction bid for Freetown Street and a portion of Precinct Street. So a bid was received from Seal Coating Inc., DBA Indus, in the amount of $468,503.20. The bid for the ad alternate 1 is $329,035. I need to recuse myself from this conversation, so John, the floor is yours.
Wow.
I have a conflict, so I never vote on anything related to road management for the most part.
Well, I was told by Franklin today that this is similar to the Surges contract. That is, this is not awarding the job to Seal Coating Inc. This is simply getting prices for cold in place for $468,000. That is, we're authorizing him to spend $468,503.20 in cold in place. The bid for ad alternate number 1 is $329,035, which is an overlay price. That is doing it the traditional hot mix way,
Right.
the same way that Keating or T.L. Edwards or any of the hot mix people would do it. Because it's similar to the park. I said, I want to make sure we see the quote for Precinct Street separate by itself. So this is, according to Franklin, simply getting the base prices for cold in place and for a traditional overlay.
Yeah, he also mentioned to me that this is almost, if we just take care of this, then we really cut down on the road getting totally out of control too. So like not doing anything.
Well, this isn't authorizing him to go ahead with it. He hasn't
Right.
even quoted it yet.
Right, no, it's just the whole plan,
Right.
his plan in place.
Because the cold in place
Yeah,
is sole source to Seal Coating,
yeah.
and it takes all the other people out of the picture. So my certain question to Franklin was, wow, we pick a method that no one does, other than Seal Coating. Usually that's a dangerous path to be on. So he assured me that he will get the quotes to do Precinct Street separately.
Yeah. And, just in the 2 months that, I've been working with him, I think he really has a good outlook too. So my instinct is to just follow his lead. He's talking about long-term stuff, he's talking about, everything, so
I agree with you,
I would
but-
make a motion that we, approve this.
I'll second that motion. With discussion that, once again, Franklin, when we built the police station and spent $8 million on it, not that I want to redo what we did at the police station, but there was a committee of professionals put together that have done that before in order to spend $8 million. Franklin will spend $2 million per year, and I want to make sure that there's an engineering team behind him that is signing off as he goes. And that might be 2 opinions, not just 1 opinion.
Right.
This isn't just buying a pickup truck for $60,000.
Right.
This is spending if the $4 million bond passes at town meeting, we're effectively spending $2 million a year. And I want to make sure that we have both Beta and potentially
Is this something,
environmental partners involved.
Rita, would you know that whether Beta has, I didn't ask him if he specifically worked with Beta on this or environmental partners. Do you know the answer?
It would be
Beta
Beta.
prepared the specs.
So I've got to assume that the answer to that is yes.
Is yes.
The true test is we do Precinct Street and see how the cold in place work.
Right.
So you made the motion, I seconded it, and the vote to award what I consider to be a comparison to the Surges contract. That's what we're doing. We're not awarding this to them.
I'm confused.
Well, I was confused until I talked to Frank.
Frank.
He has to quote Precinct Street.
Right, but you're awarding it to Seal Coating.
Yes.
the
Yeah, to
company.
seal coat it.
And then he'll come back with the actual cost.
Well, right, he's got to come back with the actual cost. It could be less than this.
Yep.
I hope. So, but he's not doing cold in place for Precinct Street. He's only doing, the head of Precinct Street is being done, I believe, the traditional.
Well, he told me that it was Montgomery to Route 79, I think.
Right, that Precinct Street is from 18 all the way to Montgomery
Right.
Street. I agree. So I'll go along with awarding this, but once again, I think that someone's spending $2 million, and
You want a couple
we
more
need to make
opinions?
sure that we have some face-to-face meetings and perhaps appoint a selectman
Well-
to be part of a committee with both Beta and Franklin involved and ask all the appropriate questions.
Again, I mean, I don't mind getting involved in that. I definitely feel more secure doing that now than I even did 2 months ago, so,
Well, we can-
that's the case.
We'll address that.
Yeah, we can address that
A
with
committee
him.
approach later.
Yeah, okay.
Vote?
All right, vote.
Yea?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right, look at that, I bet. That's exciting. Agenda item 13. This is a review and vote on the fiscal year 19 end-of-year transfers. So we have a number of transfers that we are authorized to do as we approach the end of the year to move money around to balance the previous year budget based upon deficit spent items and/or line items that had overages to others and vice versa. Therefore, I will make a motion that we approve the transfer of appropriations for fiscal year 2019, the total of $66,000 going from various accounts, including information technology expenses, $5,000, $17,500, veterans expenses, $8,000, fire salaries, $20,000, snow and ice expenses, $12,000, snow and ice expenses, $3,500, to treasurer, tax title, legal services, $5,000, information technology salary, $17,500, other general government expenses, $8,000, fire expenses, $20,000, gas inspector, plumbing inspector, electrical inspector, $5,000, $1,000, $6,000 respectively, and animal control expenses, $3,500, total $66,000 going from these items to those items.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do you need, is this the one to sign for me?
Put one in the sign folder.
Okay, I'll leave it there just in case. Agenda item number 14, review and vote to issue the animal control warrant. So we vote annually to issue the warrant to the dog officers, which is attached. Do we have to read this? I'm going to waive the reading. I'll make a motion to approve and issue the warrant to the dog officers.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Pretty much allows for people to go who are authorized to be dog officers and do the things they do. Agenda item number 15, discuss the request from the town clerk to send letters to the state political committees regarding poll workers. I will make a motion that we vote to send the attached letters to the state political committees regarding poll workers.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Agenda item number 16, discuss the request for the extension of mobile home permit extension for 5 Alden Road. They've requested a 6-month extension for the property at 5 Alden Road. I will make a motion to approve an extension on the permit to expire January 7th, 2020. This was for a fire.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
This is still because the other one that we just voted in hasn't taken
Attorney
place
General
yet.
hasn't approved it yet.
Okay.
But just as an update, we missed a word on the renewals, and instead of saying the building commissioner further on in temporary licenses, it says the board. And Nate checked with town council whether or not it was just an administrative
scrivener's
error.
error. Yeah.
And she said, no, we're going to have to go back to
All right,
the
so
fall
we'll
town
keep-
meeting and include that on it.
We'll keep having some permits.
So then we're going to have to keep doing these on an as-needed
Well, just
basis.
the renewals.
Just the renewals.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
only so many of them. So
Okay.
this was when the Lakeville Fire Department saved Christmas.
Yep, okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Agenda item number 17, a request for the road opening permit for 16 Bridge Street from the town of Middleborough because they would like to install town water. We have a review of the application and a trench permit and a letter from our superintendent of streets. I will make a motion that we approve the trench permit and road opening permit request for 16 Bridge Street, Middleborough with the attached conditions.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
Madam Chair, Town of Middleborough is asking for a waiver of the permit fee
Why?
because they're a utility.
Do we have to? Have we done it before?
By law, gas companies do not have to pay trench permits, but Middleborough's asking because they're a utility and they're doing a favor for a Lakeville resident. So,
Taunton doesn't do that, right?
And we don't waive.
We don't waive
any
fees.
permits, no.
no, okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, agenda item number 18. Discuss a request for the road opening permit for 10 Captain's Way with Columbia Gas. I can't even say anything anymore tonight. So I'm going to make a motion that we approve the road opening permit for 10 Captain's Way for line maintenance with the attached conditions and not waive the fee.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Agenda item number 19, review the request from Matthew Polkus to be reappointed as a constable. He has been constable for a while, so he is requesting a reappointment with his term to expire June 25th, 2020. Did you hear anything back from Matt, our police chief?
He's fine.
He's fine.
And-
Okay.
and his bond
It's
is
fine. He did
expired.
attach it to another.
Perfect. Okay, so I will make that motion. Term to expire June 25th, 2020.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. I totally screwed up all my agenda items, so this must be, the next one is meeting minutes.
Yes.
Great. So we have Board of Selectmen meeting minutes, April 29th, 2019, and June 3rd, 2019. I will make a motion that we approve said minutes.
I'll second that.
I have discussion. I believe that I don't know if you just want to check. I think I abstained from this vote. The DPW supplies. I could be wrong,
you're right.
but I think I did. So if you can just make sure, check the record and adjust
I did
that.
those minutes.
The DPW,
June 3rd.
Page 2,
Yeah,
June 3rd.
I did those minutes, Tracy, so we can check we would tape that minute too.
Yep. So if we can check that, that would be fantastic. Other than that, any other discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, let's see. We have new business. Well, I'm going to jump to any other business because you guys are here for anything in particular? Okay, perfect. Anybody else here for anything in particular? Just want to make sure. Okay, so let's go to old business. The update on the police station, Route 79, and the dam management meeting held June 11th, 2019. I'm happy to not go to those damn meetings anymore. I have to go to the damn meetings now. Anytime I can use a pun, I will. All right, police station update. So we are still, I guess, on track to open and break the champagne and cut the
Yes,
ribbon.
we are.
The end of July,
We're hoping,
so that Mark can start.
one week, they thought maybe the beginning of August, but last week we heard that they should be all moved in.
Yep.
End of July, there.
All right, perfect. So end of July, we've issued the bond. We just figured out we have another $200,000 roughly to deal with. That we'll figure that out at the fall town meeting and see how we want to fund it. But taxpayers have authorized $8 million, and looks like the bond is going to be a total of 6.6 to the taxpayers on this. So I have no other updates. Timeline seems appropriate and complete.
We'll probably have, I think we talked about this, an open house for the public on Saturday, maybe in August.
It'll be free lockup for your children while you tour the station.
Yeah.
Can we do that?
Pre-open.
Try to get free babysitting in the jail cell. That's going on Lake Camp. All right, dam management meeting. Actually, do we have anything on Route 79? Any
Just an
other
update.
update?
They just sent me another timeline. I really didn't look at it, but Beta has to keep submitting this
Okay.
to Mass DOT
Okay.
when anything is done, so that was just the updated timeline.
So no real update on that. The dam management meeting. So, Lorraine and Maureen, you went.
I went to
And Rita?
my
Oh, your
last
last
damn
one.
meeting.
We're killing ourselves over here. I hope you know that.
It's dry humor. All right, so really just a pond level update. There was nothing really. I know that Middleborough Lakeville Herring Fishery Committee, so they put in their request for the eagle harvester. They're moving forward on using that and starting to do some harvesting and ecological
Still
maintenance.
getting through the final phases of the permitting.
All right, excellent.
Was the use of the river by canoes and kayaks brought up at all at the dam meeting? Or is that a different meeting?
Oh, just how difficult they are to go down the river, yeah.
Yep.
It did come up.
They
in
talked
the-
about banning. Did they talk about banning them there? Okay.
It did come up.
Kayaks?
'Cause I'm not doing that.
No.
We give them money to open the river, and
No way.
there's other
No.
departments that are saying,
Well,
we should keep those
I like
people
getting
off the
stuck
river.
on a sandbar every now and
It did
then.
come up in the pond meeting.
Yeah.
And it's not trying to ban folks from the river. It's trying to keep folks from spending time on the actual pond, just hanging out, because that's one of the drinking supplies and whatever.
When they get rid of the 3,000 geese that are in the pond first, I'll go along with doing that. I'm not banning anyone.
Norm,
All right.
Rep. Oral is supposed to meet with the Secretary of the Environment this week. With Representative Schmidt to try to get more money too.
So we'll see where that goes.
So in addition to the money that they put in the budget?
In the state budget, yes.
Because that was
the two-
35,000, right?
Right, but this is the capital budget that the Secretary of the
Well,
Environment
we-
will have in his capital plan.
Yeah, we have that money that's been set aside and appropriated, but not, or not appropriated, but at least put aside that we can't access. So if they can do something with that, that'd be great. Okay, so other items. Any other business?
Well, under the read,
Yeah.
The Peacock meeting
Go
that
ahead.
I brought Maureen to last week, that they outperformed the Peacock benchmark by almost 2%. So, and introduced Maureen to everybody on the investment committee.
Excellent.
they thank Donald Trump's stock market for that, or they want to just take credit that they were good investors?
May 31st was actually not a bad market day, fortunately.
So I certainly
This thing.
want to have Peacock people in it at some point in time as
And
an
we did say that-
update.
and we did say-
As an update to where we are. Now, we don't know, when would we know free cash? End of September?
Yeah, beginning of September, hopefully you'll know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sometime can be, well, can be before or after, doesn't make any difference.
Yeah, it'll be in the next couple months.
Yeah.
We're going to reach out.
There's no hurry
Schedule
until
some time.
we know the free
Then
cash
we'll-
number.
Right, for, in terms of OPEB funding, other capital projects, what we're looking at, stabilization, things like that.
Right.
Do you want to talk about this open space plan? Did Open Space get this letter that says our open space plan has recently expired? They're working on it?
They actually asked me to print up the open space manual to them, which I did today. So it looks like they are starting to
Work on it?
do something. They are losing their chairman as of July 1st. Well, I don't know if he's going to stay on that long. And so they will have a new chairman,
So how many openings do we have on open space right now?
Right now, there's one opening. They do have two people that have expressed interest. So when Patrick does resign, we will have a second person already there. So I believe one of the people has gone to a meeting, and the other person, they were reaching out to make arrangements for them to attend a meeting.
Okay. So that way when we get to July, we'll
And
have
Patrick
those.
would like to be their designee to them. He'd like to stay on master plan, so you'll be expecting a letter. He's going to ask Open Space to send a letter to
Yep,
the board.
putting them where they're
asking to stay
designated.
on.
So what,
And we could use our hours, our municipal
Yep.
assistant hours with Serped to, maybe we'll have to do some funding, but look into just what it will cost to update the plan.
All right, sounds good.
So what positions are currently available? Conservation Commission?
Well, we'll have that whole, and Tracy can give us an update maybe as of the July 1st meeting, because what happens in the middle of July anyways.
Everyone
is
gets
We have to do a
reappointed.
reappointment. So
Yeah.
if we can just make sure we reach out and, usually, yeah, so.
I'm due to get everybody's information back by June 25th.
Awesome. Yeah, so if we'll have that update then on July 1st at that meeting, so we can see what's open, what we have, what people want to do, if they
I
want to
mean,
stay on.
just
blah, blah,
because,
blah.
again, I've never gone through the process. Do people, send a letter saying, I would like to be reappointed or not?
No,
Or
if-
do we just
The chairman,
assume?
the chairman.
I reach out to the chairman and I ask them to reach out to all their members who are up for reappointment to ask them if they want to be back on. They respond to me by email and that's that.
And then we just appoint John to the things we don't want, like the forestry committee, and it's never
I'm
met.
staying on that.
Well, I'll take that.
No, I'm all set.
Yeah, rent control. I like rent control. I'm happy being on rent control.
Okay.
Anyways,
Only
okay.
because I've had a few people ask me, and I don't even know where to direct them,
That they're interested?
for just,
Website, we,
On the website,
There's a volunteer
there's a volunteer form
Yep.
that they can fill out and submit, and it asks them, what they're interested in, and
They cannot be the fence viewer, purveyor of fences.
no.
say that again?
That's a real one.
mile driver,
Pile driver, fence viewer, and purveyor of fences or something.
surveyor.
Surveyor,
Yeah.
that's what it is. Yeah, that's a great one. There's a rule on fences being like 5 feet high or higher. Just like Kevin Bernardo just got appointed as the inspector of mill. That being said, so I don't think there's anything else in front of us other than I'm going to make a motion that we enter executive session pursuant to Mass.
I want to do a read
Oh, you want to read?
on the
Sorry.
read on Bountiful Farms, because for any of the marijuana interested people, Bountiful Farms is one of the ones in the industrial park. They were rehabbing the building. They sent us a letter, as we've recently discussed with the town administrator, Rita Garbutt. Bountiful Farms had planned to open our first dispensary at our Lakeville location. However, subject to the approval of the Massachusetts Cannabis Control Commission, Bountiful Farms will open our first dispensary location in Nantucket. Nantucket. I'm getting,
That would be a really bad
I'm
idea.
following Mitzi. Jesus.
We
Natick,
can't actually ship our
Massachusetts.
products to our dispensary. But we're going to have it
Bountiful
there.
Farms, right. Bountiful Farms will continue to cultivate, process its cannabis products at our facility currently under development at 200 Kenneth Welsh. We're constructing the facility to accommodate a potential dispensary location in the future. That's just an update on the marijuana.
All right, so I am making a motion to enter executive session pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A, to discuss the reputation, character, physical condition, or mental health rather than professional competence of an individual, or discuss the discipline or dismissal of, or complaints or charges against a public officer, employee, staff member, or individual. And pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 38, Section 21A3, for the purpose of discussing strategy with respect to litigation in the matter of Trophy versus Lakeville et al., Plymouth Superior Court, CA number 1783, CB 00700. Holding the meeting in open session would have a detrimental effect on the litigation position, and the chair so declares. And pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 38, Section 21A2, to conduct contract negotiations with non-union personnel, specifically the police chief. And pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 38, Section 21A7, to comply with the open meeting law. Mass General Law, Chapter 38, Section 22F, approval of executive session minutes for April 12, 2019, April 22, 2019, 2 sets, April 29, 2019, May 5, 2019, and May 13, 2019, and not return to open session.
So moved.
I made that motion, so that was the second.
Second.
Hollenbeck,
Aye.
Powderly,
Aye.
and Fabian.
Aye.
All right.